Michael Aspel looks back over 25 years of classic conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Aspel. Good evening.
Hello.
Can I say, in the book, one of the most amazing statements that you've written, and I've had to write it out myself so that I can read it back to you,
Yes?
is, one thing you say, one thing is certain, I don't like being interviewed. I find a lack of empathy occurs and my brain seizes up like rusty machinery. Which puts us in a very sorry situation at the moment.
Well, thanks for having me. I'll be honest. That was in 1974, though it may seem longer, and I was persuaded to stay despite my reservations. But then I'm not the only one who feels uncomfortable at the thought of questions heading in my direction. And tonight we're going to investigate how an assortment of names have reacted to being interviewed over the last 25 years of talk shows on ITV. Chat, of course, is seen as the bread and butter of television. All you need is a chair, a host and a guest. It's all very simple. But then take these stairs. It may look easy enough just walking onto the set, but when the light and the cameras are on you and the audience is expectant, it doesn't always work out as smoothly as you'd like. Here's a selection of entrances that were more dramatic than the producer intended. First, from 1988, Elizabeth Taylor as viewers saw her, poised, glamorous, basking in the adoration of her fans. This was, in fact, entrance number 2. A few moments before, a transmitter, strapped for convenience to Miss Taylor's inner thigh, fell off and clattered to the floor. She laughed loudest of all. When David Frost bounded onto the set of Sunday Sunday 10 years ago to tell Gloria Hunniford about the sexual chemistry of TVAM, he registered 8.4 on the Richter scale, and this was before the breakfast station even got on the air. And Gloria, brave girl, must have realised she was asking for it when she invited Freddie Starr onto the show. And how can I forget this precious moment? One glimpse of that confident smile, and you just knew the conversation was going to be of the flowing variety. Cheers. Now, once you've actually got your guest on, there comes that slightly awkward moment as they settle in the hot seat and niceties are exchanged before you launch into the interview. Some guests, understandably, try to delay that moment as long as possible.
Oh, this is nice. Not PVC. It's not PVC, is it? I hope it's not. You know it sticks to your bum. It's dreadful. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'd realised it is real calf, isn't it? Leather.
It is, yes.
You do yourselves well here. Nice. I like all that ritzy stuff.
You do.
The film exposes the connection, of course,
Could I take this chair with me when I leave?
I will. It is good, isn't it?
It's a great chair.
The only chairs in the world designed for a chat show, not just bought, but made for us.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a magnificent chair because it keeps you like this. And
Yes.
still, you can do this. And sorry.
Do I swap seats?
No, please, you're doing remarkably
Because
well.
you got your best side on, I got my worst side on.
All right, go on, I'll swap seats.
Are you
Hello.
keeping your strength up for the
No,
play?
I've brought some chocolates because I'm at the stage now where I can't go 10 minutes without one.
What stage
So
is
it's
this?
whether I go mad on your show or have a chocolate. It's up to you.
I'd like a little of both, actually. That could be
Would you
fun.
like a chocolate?
No,
to kick us off?
No, you kick yourself off.
No, all
I'll
right,
just,
I will. Thank you.
I'll watch.
Very good.
What a wonderful privilege
How very
to
nice.
be on your show.
How very nice to have you with us.
Isn't he gorgeous? It's lovely to have an opportunity to interview you.
I didn't know it was going to be that way around.
Now,
Is it
let us,
gonna be-
let us commence the interview.
Do you want this interview to be serious?
Of course. Listen, how did the first
Get
half
yourself
go?
comfortable.
All right.
Get yourself comfortable.
I've got these tight pants on tonight. Are you the same, love? You the same, girl? Wriggle. Nothing worse than your knickers out of focus, dear. That's right. Here we are. Now.
How do you do? You've done wonderfully well, haven't you? Wonderfully well.
I'm a bit taken aback.
You started with nothing, and look at you now. How do you do? Now, I'm awfully sorry that Barry Humphries couldn't be here this evening, but we've just flown in from Australia, and we're both suffering from jet lag, I'm afraid.
How is it showing itself, your suffering?
Well, I'm feeling very, very well, but Barry isn't terribly well. Poor Pet. He's back in the hotel, and of course, he has just had a vasectomy. On his diners card. He's not 100%. So he said, Edna, would you just pop along? How do you do? My name is Edna Everidge, housewife superstar.
You know, I've never actually said this to anybody, very rarely in real life, and certainly never on television, but Nigel, your flies are undone.
You haven't worked it out.
I thought he was going to say, Nigel, I love you.
And I very nearly did. But that actually was at the end of the interview. I'd noticed the glint of metal the moment Nigel came on, but I didn't want to embarrass him. So your guests have loosened their stays, the mood is right, on with the conversation and all those well-researched and cleverly phrased questions you've been dying to ask.
I don't know quite how to phrase this, but some of your remarks in the House of Commons have earned you the reputation of being a bit of a thug.
Good heavens, that's a most extraordinary remark, Clive.
What do you like at 4 o'clock in the morning? I don't mean as far as sexual chemistry is concerned. I just mean about getting up to get to your job.
Now, wasn't that self-control? That was a moment of self-control. Well, would you like to rephrase that question?
I understand, yes.
Would you give the royal family a rise, in fact?
Oh, now you're getting controversial. I'm not going to answer that. So let's get on. Oh, no, I'm here to talk about me. I don't know anything. Oh, no. I like that, you see. I love that. He's very good at this. You see, stirring it up. He has two... I've seen you before. You have two people, one here and one there, you see. All friends. And you say, would you show us around? And the time you finish, they hate each other. You're saying, you're looking at the cameras as much as to say, I didn't expect this. All innocence, you see. But you're not doing with me, mate.
Oh. What kind of fruitful, amusing, entertaining, diverting experiences have you had abroad, say?
Melon sucking.
Scissors! Definitely scissors, whatever.
I read you once drank, I've got a note here, 104 pints in 24 hours. That was beer, I presume?
No, it was 48 hours.
Ah, well, that's all right.
Yes.
Well, on a slightly more serious note, Frank, of course. Oh, Frank.
Oh, that'll go down in history as one of the cock-ups of all time. You'll never hear the last of that in the club at the BBC.
Harry, let me ask you this question in a very serious vein.
Yes, Sue.
Let us talk about shared interests.
Steady.
Well, I mean, football. Does Helen love football?
Helen? Get out of here, Helen. Rachel.
Rachel?
Rachel.
What is...
But saying, she told me not to come on this show.
I don't mind if it goes wrong, because there's nothing that delights the average viewer more than seeing someone make a fool of himself.
Absolutely.
And if that person is me, I'm delighted.
You're delighted.
Just as well. It happens often enough. Now, it is important to establish a good rapport with your company, but one thing to be avoided at all costs is the setup when your guest tells you to ask them something. In one of the very first editions of Aspel & Company, Mel Brooks thought of an idea in the green room just before he came on and suggested that I say, "You lost your father at an early age." I fell for it. You lost your father at an early age, didn't you?
No.
My father died. Michael, if we lost him, we would have sent people out to find him.
Yes, well, I took it in good part. A year later, I received a check for $600 from an American program, no doubt informed by Mel, who used that very clip to show what happens to people who ask silly questions. If I'd known, they could have had all my stuff. Sometimes, though, you don't get a chance to ask any questions. That's when the guests take over the show and things get out of control. Do you remember Margaret Powell, the lady who found fame very late in life as a writer and TV personality? She put Russell Harty right straight away on what she thought of the interviewing game.
Well, you know what this game is? I mean, it's money for old rope, isn't it? I mean, it's grossly overpaid, I think.
Have you been paid for tonight yet?
Not yet, but I hope to be.
You know we pay you by how good a performance you give.
Do you?
Yeah, because in the control we have a swingometer that goes like that.
Well, in that case, mine would be swooping right up, because they're all going to laugh at me, you see. You've got to keep laughing, because the more you laugh, the more I get paid.
All right, let me ask you a few sour questions then.
Oh, no, you couldn't be sour.
Could I not?
Well, you haven't got the kind of face that could be sour. Besides, you aren't paid to be sour anyway.
How do you know?
I know that, I know. You're paid to put everyone at their ease.
Yes, I like being interviewed. It doesn't happen often enough, actually. I don't get asked enough. I'm delighted that you asked me. I should sit here and relax.
Of course you will.
Well, it's power without responsibility. I mean, it's up to you to make this a good interview, Russell.
Well, that's all we have time for tonight. We'll be back.
They seem to say this is tradition, we want to thank certain people, and the women aren't allowed in, so that's the way it is. You wouldn't stand for that, would you?
I'd stand for anything, Will, if you were behind it. You don't even look at me, but I know he wants me.
It's a great sleeve, that.
It is, yeah.
If you touch my bleeding sleeve...
Because these sleeves...
No, hey, he's getting stroppy now. Because you leave his sleeves alone. Personal, them, eh? Can't touch the interviewer, can we? Hey, no, he's in command, isn't he? Can make everybody else look a right twit as long as you don't have a go at him. How long you been happily married then, eh?
The public perception of you is as a strong woman, isn't it?
Yeah, that's certainly true.
Yeah, she's pretty strong, yeah, she's...
Are you intimidated by strong women?
I'm frightened of them, definitely.
Well, that's true.
Intimidated by strong women?
Yeah.
You know, the problem about that embarrasses me, but what will happen, it would be a just absolute terrible thing if he turned around and hit her. So I think it's really not nice, Shirley, to do that. Because that's, I mean, we would really be upset if the man hit the woman like that. That would be terrible. Oh, my.
I tell you what I usually do on talk shows when I was asked that the host takes his shirt off and his jacket off. So, why? And sometimes even females, I ask them. Barbara Waters one of them asked me, and I said, take your shirt off and I take mine off, and we then do some things together. Why don't we do that? Yeah.
But quickly.
Yeah, sure, quickly.
We have to start.
Yeah, okay, let's do it. Okay, the tie. Yes,
I'll kill anybody who photographs.
Okay.
Keep the cameras on him.
Keep the cameras...
I'll show it to the audience.
No, we get a special lens for you.
You better start.
Sure, we start. Let's do it quickly. That's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. Max, start that music, will you please?
All right.
Oh, I feel so good. Can I go home now?
Russell had all the fun. Back after the break with more uncomfortable moments.
The biggest ever Paul Air carpet sale is now on. Every carpet is reduced. And we have fabulous new offers starting New Year's Day. Buy any carpet, pay just over 10% deposit, and then pay the balance in July '94. Plus, for a few days only, save 90% on this Wilton. It's only $1.95 a square yard when you buy the underlay at $2.99 a square yard. Save 70% on these Boda Styles, now $2.99 a square yard. These print designs are only $1.99 a square yard. Hurry, these offers start New Year's Day and will end Tuesday, the 4th of January.
the Rover 200. The only thing wooden about it is the dashboard.
As well as low prices every day on your key DIY, B&Q has something extra special at the moment. A special purchase sale with hundreds of products at very special prices. A huge clearance of discontinued lines and end-of-season products. And interest-free credit when you spend £500 on bathrooms or £1,000 on kitchens or conservatories. Whether you want low prices every day on the products you buy most or something extra special, you'll find it all at B&Q.
Remegel has exploded the idea that an effective indigestion tablet should leave a chalky, gritty taste behind. Remegel brings you fast, effective relief, but in a soft, chewy tablet. Now there's new Fresh Mint Remegel, just as effective, just as soft and chewy. Remegel, effective indigestion relief that's chewy, not chalky.
It's rotten coming on after commercial break. It's rotten because you start from scratch, don't you? And I'm very lucky to be here at all. I'm going to tell you something about scratch because they shoved me in this hospital and they gave me this barium thing, you know, tube. They put a tube up the rear. And then they shove all this lotion, or whatever it is, up and photograph its progress through your innards, you know? And I was wincing more than one occasion, and eventually this man, who's, you know, a doctor, who's conducting it all, kept saying, hold it in, hold it in. You know, this is very valuable equipment and all. They're all sitting on a lens, apparently, of some sort, of a camera. And he said eventually, Mr. Williams, you have a spastic colon. So I've come into money.
Kenneth Williams, every chat show host's dream guest, never short of a word, and how he loved his bodily functions. He was always ready to give you the inside story. But then again, it's a subject that everyone has an opinion on. When in doubt, there is always the old medicine chest. Yours is a very strong constitution, obviously. Are you never ill? Do you take pills?
I am never ill. I take usually every day. You really are trying to learn my secrets, aren't you? Claire, what is the secret? I usually take vitamin C every morning. I don't have breakfast. I take vitamin C in some very nice sparkling water.
Thank you. It's
You want to try it?
It sounds delicious. I will try it once, thank you. Might help with the bags under the eyes.
They had the diphtheria epidemic in Scotland, and everybody had to go and have these inoculations, which were in 3 stages, and apparently they got worse and worse. You know what it's like when you're a kid. And I remember standing behind this girl called Cathy Dugan. I'm sure she's probably watching the show now. And she was so big, and she had this arm like my leg, and they put the needle right in the bicep. And that was the last thing I remember. And I've been the same with needles ever since.
Now, you're looking slim and lovely now, but as the world knows, there was a time when, of course, you weren't quite as sylph-like.
I was the great white whale.
We have, in fact, a picture here, which I'm sure you won't mind us seeing, because in the context of your present appearance... There you are.
Isn't that pretty?
How long ago was that?
About 7 years ago.
And how much did you weigh?
I would say about 185.
What's that, 13 stone or something?
That's a boiling piece.
So how do you...
You can tell I really cared about my hair and how I looked. I was so together.
We always regarded, if we go back to your teens, we always regarded as being beautiful and the sex symbol.
I never regarded myself as such, but yes, some other people did say that I had, yes, that I was pretty and I had a lovely body, and yes, and
Is this at high school?
And yes, and it was sort of no secret to me that that was the way they were reacting, and so I sort of yes, I was aware of it. Yeah.
I think they had a few little nicknames for you, didn't they?
Well, you know, most of my friends called me Rocky, but then Sylvester Stallone stole it from me, so now I must be Rocky 3 or something.
Certainly Rocky 2, anyway.
When I look in the mirror now, I say to myself, Arnold, how can you look so great? This is amazing, you know?
It's incredible.
It's like there's such a stud.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So
it's all that humping and pumping, isn't it?
At all. Even when I get to your age, I wouldn't worry about it now.
I should probably land one on you in a moment. But anyway, one has to be very careful if you watch yourself on television. You look at something and you say, oh, I quite like the way I rubbed my nose in a manly way there. And then you begin to do it all the time, and it becomes what was initially fairly attractive becomes an affectation. Right. So you have to be very careful, I'd say, about looking at yourself, but I still prefer to take risks and to take chances, because, all right, you are open, particularly in light entertainment, to critics kicking you to death.
Do you bear any marks on your ankles or in your brain or on your heart being kicked? Can you remember what nasty people say about you, and does it affect you?
Oh, yeah, I think anybody, and we're all human, I think if you get a nasty crit, it does hurt. I mean, you can't pretend that it doesn't. I always send it up if I do, but that's not to say that it doesn't hurt.
Right. There's a certain famous talk show host we won't name who operates for a rival organisation, but in the morning, when he did morning radio, he had this wonderful, long, scruffy, dandruffy voice. You thought, there is a man who does not use dental floss, you know. And but now when he's on TV, early evening television as a talk show host, he is so shiny. You can't look at him. He's like the sun. They polish that hairstyle of his, you know? And those patent leather shoes, they make Bruce Forsyth look like ski boots. And the trousers, they're not only perfectly creased, but no wrinkles are allowed to form behind here, you see. You know how they do that? No. They bring him onto the set and off again in a golf cart. They do. It's called the Wogan Wagon. I've given his name away. I wasn't going to mention it.
My face has been named after every known part of every known animal. Really? And I got used to the idea. Yes, a weary camel. I don't know why, because it's the bad end of the idea. You wouldn't. Let's have a look at you. Now, get over here. Where's the camel? Put a camera on him. Well, on us.
There's one on him,
one on
you as well.
I'm doing my best to get it off him. Now, who's got the biggest back? See, you don't look so... Now, look miserable. I don't think you come out any better than I do, really. You must do some of that makeup, girl. Go and get a little something on the face, you see. It livens it up, you see. Makes you look young and sparkling and virile. All right. Virile. Mind, you don't want a makeup girl, you want Lourdes. Never mind.
People who are born good-looking and are good-looking, they're much more confident naturally, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and it means very often, I think, that they haven't had to develop their personality, or at least develop the chat. Yeah. I mean, chat sort of passing for personality. I mean, I'm sure that your line of chat is great. Must be the way you look. I know mine is.
It is true that my line of chat is better than it would be if I had been born looking like Robert Redford.
I know you're in there somewhere. It does hide a lot of, or could hide a lot of imperfections.
What are you trying to say, Michael?
Nothing.
I'm trying to say, yes, I have got a big body. And whenever I walk down the corridor at London Weekend, the sort of great black ladies come out of the room and say, "Boy, where you going with that bam bam?" You eat too much yam and banana, you know.
You're a very attractive woman.
Oh yes, it's a curse.
You're a very well-known woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be safe to say that you are a mature woman.
You betcha.
And you're obviously very well groomed, and you take great care of yourself, and you coif yourself beautifully and frequently. What went wrong?
There's one thing I should have told you.
What?
This.
Are you very self-conscious about your huge height?
Well, I regard it as normal, you see. That's the trouble. So when I meet someone of, what, 5'1"?
You flatter me, it's 4'11", actually. Thank you very much.
My mother's only 5'1", incidentally. Ah. And when I was about 13 years of age, if we walked down the street, because I was 6 foot tall by that point, people used to nudge each other as we went by.
Well, I think it's always that being tall or short is just a mental outlook, you know? Because I always think I'm very tall.
Yes. How much of your day do you spend working on your body?
Oh, hour and a half. 5, 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm. Sean?
Working on my body?
Yes.
You're not allowed to do that in a Catholic religion, really.
And Richard, you stroke the cat, I suppose. What do you do?
I play squash twice a week if I can. I swim, and I do about 5 minutes, 10 minutes every day.
Of what?
I'm a Presbyterian.
I struck a rich vein there, didn't I? A rich vein indeed. Many happy hours have been spent discussing the joys and mysteries of life, none more lyrically than with Arthur Marshall, a man from a gentler age.
You see, I was born in 1910, and my parents were therefore Victorian. And you see, in those days, you were told absolutely nothing. I knew nothing of the facts of life, for example, until I got to my preparatory school. And at the age of 13, all the boys who were leaving were summoned to go to the headmaster's study. Of course, we all thought some terrible crime had been discovered. But along we went, and for once he was looking really quite genial. And we were all asked to sit down, which was absolutely unheard of. So then he said, I expect you've all been wondering how you got here. Well, we hadn't been wondering at all. We'd come straight along the passage. But he was speaking in a wider sense. And he said, well, there's absolutely nothing to worry about, because you see, it's like this. When a lady and gentleman love one another, there's this little thing that's provided by the gentleman, and there's this little thing that's provided by the lady. And the two little things meet up in the lady's cave and form a baby. Now, are there any questions?
How times have changed. As we know, things have become so much more uncouth and rough-edged since then. Gloria Hunniford asked an experimentally bearded me about my wartime role as a matchmaker. Well, I should think I might be responsible personally for quite a few members of the community down in Somerset by introducing the troops to the girls down there. And, you know, I would be called and they give me their photograph and they say, can you introduce me to a girl, boy? And so I used to go off and say, do you like this gentleman? Would you like to go to the pictures with him? And they'd say, thank you very much. I don't know why they wanted to be friends with the girls, but that was it.
A 10-year-old pimp, perhaps?
Exactly, yes. I made a lot of money that way.
Now, do you two have a good sex life?
That's very cheeky.
Well, there's a reason
Well, the answer is yes, of course we do.
Well,
yeah, do you?
A husband whose wife has been unfaithful should thank the other man for being...
Well, I didn't say thank, you know, but I mean, he surely should not kill, you know. Now, he might maim him a little.
If this was your own situation with your own lovely wife, would you maim, would you kill, or would you just...
No, but I would surely educate him, you know.
Women are really, in some ways, they really are slightly hypocritical. For instance, you beg, you know, when you're a teenager. I mean, that's all you think about. You beg, you go on a date and you beg and you say, please, just could we kiss in the doorway? Could I touch? No. Could you hold? No. Oh no. Could I? You know, and they never, you know, they just say no. Oh no, I don't do that. I don't do it because they don't do it. Women don't do that. How we're all here is a miracle because they don't do that. They never do that. This is all some kind of immaculate conception happening. So anyway, finally one night, They know you, they're drunk, they do it. They finally, they say, all right, they succumb to it. They do it. They do it. The next day you say, let's go to the cinema. Let's go to the movies. They say, let's do it. You say, let's have a piece of cake. They say, let's do it. Okay, let's take a walk. They say, I'd rather do it. I mean, once they do it, that's all they want to do is do it. I mean, they really are terrible. I mean, you know.
What kind of reaction do you get from the people who are violently in favour of you? I mean, do you get fan mail?
Yes, a lot.
What is it? Scabrous or dangerous or interesting or exciting?
It's very sexy.
In what way?
Well, I seem to draw a lot of fantasies out of people, and a lot of the fan mail I get. A lot of it is awfully nice. I mean, they say, how's your baby and how's your wife and what's your mum's name and things like that. But some of them are worth framing.
Can you tell us about one or two of the framed ones?
No, I couldn't really. No, they really are quite heavy.
So if you see some magazine that says, the 20 best sex symbols of the year, you look for your name. I've never seen my name on there. How do you do on those?
Pretty good.
I think so.
I don't want to pry, but I believe that you and Clyde are now deeply in love.
Clyde's a sloppy kisser, I'll tell you. But he's devilishly attractive after a while.
Were you embarrassed at all at any of the hot and heavy love scenes that you had to undertake?
No, I thought they were great. What? No, I mean, this was a part of the sort of the magic and the glamour and the excitement of Hollywood. And I'm sorry to say it's lost a little of this.
I tell you what, I was very amused to read in your book about the fact that 5 years ago you had a bed scene with Jimmy Stewart. Not bad.
Oh, yes, I did, and I was very embarrassed. Because I had not been in bed with a man for a great many years. And Catherine, who was on the set with me, said, this I cannot wait to see. I can't imagine you in bed with a man. Well, either did I. But anyway, it's a nice scene.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, no, it wasn't that kind of scene.
What a shame. But I remember coming down to the set, and it was that scene where Ian Holm has to take this porno magazine and attacks me with it, and Ridley Scott said, we have this magazine and we're going to put it up your hooter. And I said, I don't think so. And he explained to me that that meant...
Your nose.
Right.
Does it mean something? Doesn't hooter...
I didn't know what it meant, but I wouldn't put anything past Ridley, actually.
I don't think that, how shall I put it? Copulating is not pretty to look at. It really is not a pretty exercise. And for me to show two people, what positions are you going to get in to make them attractive? Whereas in our day, you suggested it, didn't you? They disappeared and you panned off onto two doves cooing or something, and you imagine, in the kissing, because I used to play romantic parts. And never once did I open my mouth. And if you see some of my old films, I think I kissed rather passionately, but they were, But people like Richard Gere, they eat.
When I saw you in Grease playing the title role, I think it was.
Grease.
Part of Grease. I said to myself, that man is going to be famous one day. He's going to make it to the top. He's going to be on a talk show with me, I said to myself. You're going to be that big, and you are, my darling, and I like the way you took a stand against this silly old chauvinistic, fundamentally, I think, sex symbol thing. Because we are actors, aren't we? We are people. We have our own integrity, and you're not a sex symbol to me, darling. In fact, you actually are a bit of a turn-off. I mean that in a very nice way. I do, Because you bring out the maternal instinct in me. You know, when I see you in some of those films, you're either wearing a military uniform or in your little birthday suit. I see your little bits jiggling around. And,
Not so little.
Not so little. Oh, your little front body. Do you know what? Do you know when I see that? Do you know what my fingers are doing, Miss Spicoli? They're reaching for the talcum powder. They are. Because I want to give them a little dusting. I want to put a little absorbent nappy between those legs of yours. Because I'm a very maternal person, and I feel that towards you.
We've always given our customers really great holidays at really great prices. Now we've joined together to become
Going Places. We can give you really, really great holidays at really, really great prices.
You get really, really great prices at Going Places.
Caterer, dinner party for 6?
I'm afraid I don't know where anything is. It's my boyfriend's flat.
Oh, that's okay. I've brought the essentials.
Who's that?
The caterer.
She's cutting it fine.
He.
Rich coffee aroma, smooth coffee flavor. Nescafe Gold Blend.
That was excellent. Thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. My sister's the caterer, but she's ill. I said I'd help out. So, how are you getting home?
Any more of that delicious coffee?
I'll get it. The caterer's just leaving.
What was World War II really like for the men and women who fought in it?
Some of the equipment we'd not trained with. They'd only joined us when we started fighting.
Find out in Images of War, a fortnightly publication that uses eyewitness and previously unpublished material to re-examine the crucial campaigns. Strategic battle maps, historical documents, reprints of newspapers of the day let you relive the war. Get Images of War and see World War II through the eyes of the people who fought it. Part 1 costs just 30 pence.
The Texas end-of-year sellout ends 8 p.m. Tuesday. To ensure all surplus stocks are sold, we're knocking an instant 10% off all end-of-range prices at the checkout. And there's an extra 10% off many items already reduced. Don't miss it. The Texas end-of-year sellout ends 8 p.m. Tuesday.
It's really weird to explain, but the harder the die, the more I smoke.
It's a familiar story, so apply a Nicorette 16-hour patch with a little pressure.
Oh, yay!
The sales have started in Victoria Gardens, Harrogate. Victoria Gardens, Harrogate. Shopping made civilized.
The range of 5 new special edition Fiestas starts with the Fresco at under £6,795 and moves up with the Finesse, which at under £7,995 boasts 4-speaker radio cassette, metallic finish and sunroof.
Just move on up.
It all adds up to outstanding value.
Toward your destination, though you may find from time.
Ring 0800 777 444 for full details of the 5 special editions of Britain's best-loved small car. Or fly down to your Shire Ford dealer. Shire, your local Ford dealer, with a great deal to offer.
I really, really can't wait to get some colour.
You get really, really great prices at Going Places.
If you're sitting in this hot seat, you know you're then open to all sorts of hostile criticisms. Do you know, for instance, that a lot of television critics consider chat shows to be the lowest form of human life?
Really?
Well, The Guardian, for instance, last week said that the chat show is the aboriginal form of television life. It's the lowest in the category.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think talk, conversation, which unfortunately so many people, because of television, have lost the art of. I think to talk and argue, debate, and have fiery discussions like they do on other shows, I think this is the essence of television. I think you can find out what makes people tick, you can find out what their views are, and the people at home feel part of it. It's as though those people were sitting in their drawing rooms. Do you agree with me? Absolutely. Yes.
Well, I can't quite claim that every chat show lineup lives up to the Diana Dors ideal of clever debate and fiery discussion, but then amongst the hordes there were always the special few who never failed to deliver good old-fashioned entertainment.
My bladder was bursting, and I was just about to disappear when we were marched into dinner, and I got this tight, stiff collar on and everything, and nobody speaking to me, and then soup, cold soup, came. More strain. And then I started taking to anything, all this wine, thinking that it would work as an anesthetic, and take this dreadful pain away. And I was absolutely, it was dying. And finally, and no way you could say, please, sir, may I? No way. So I thought, well, my whole career is going to end in a pool underneath the mess silver and everything. And at that moment, the one friend I had did a genius thing, and the mess butler we had came over and he said, whispered Mr. Trubshaw's compliment, sir. I put an empty Magnum underneath your chair. Well, I mean, that's a difficult game. That's a very tricky business indeed. And I got it arranged, and nonchalantly was crumbling a biscuit with his hand. When this terrible colonel turned to me, this man had never spoken to me, and he said, I have pleasured women of every nationality and most animals. But the one thing I cannot stand is a girl with a Glasgow accent past the port. And he never spoke to me again in 3 years. Never spoke to me again ever.
I mean, after all, the essence of all true communication is a lack of inhibition, isn't it? That's the essence of it. If you're going to throw a party and everyone's going to get together, you've got to have what they call an icebreaker. Then people have a few drinks and a chat and all that, but I don't need it. You know, I've got it anyway. And I think that if you have a natural fluency, and I always have had, then, you know, you go up to people and chat. I always go straight up to people and chat. If I can't think of a line to say, I just say something from a popular song. You know, I say things like, I like New York in June. How about you?
I envy him because he travels a great deal. I think he's very clever. Very clever. You are very clever. You are a clever man, very clever. And he does all my stuff, which is very interesting because, well, you don't actually do it the way I do it. But, I mean, I watched the other night on television, and how you do it is exactly the same, you know. He's obviously been studying me. True. It's just true.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you were on the other Monday night, so I turned the sound off. I really did. And he was going... Isn't that so?
Absolutely.
And just one last thing. I twisted my knee on Sunday night. I must say this to you. I did thank you because it was a gloomy Monday. It was cold, bitter out it was. And I was laying there with my foot up. And it was gloomy and I was feeling down. And then on comes Sir David. So I looked at this and I suddenly learned something. I got this... I thought, that's interesting. I never thought of that before. He was explaining why elephants can't jump. Oh, that's extraordinary. I've never wondered before. It never occurred to me why elephants can't jump. I thought this is a marvellous conversation because if you're in a train carriage and people don't know what to say to each other, it's sitting beside somebody in a bus, and you think, oh, excuse me, do you know why elephants can't jump?
I can't recall now why elephants can't jump. I think it's something to do with having to keep one foot on the ground, like those bedroom scenes in early movies. Meantime, let's take a look at what can happen when you've had enough conversation and you decide to have a jolly old sing-song. And we've had a few of those.
That'll be the day when you make me cry. Well, you say you're gonna leave. You know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Hey, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. Yeah, that'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave. You know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die.
Oh, why do you wanna make those eyes at me for? If they don't mean what they say. They make me glad, they make me sad, they make me want a lot of things that I've never had. You're fooling around with me now. Oh, well, you lead me on and then you run away. Oh, well, that's all right. I'll get you alone some night, and baby, you'll find you're messing with dynamite. So why do you want to make those eyes at me for, if they don't mean what they say?
I was wandering along by the bank of the river when 7 fat cows come on out of the Nile. And right up behind her, these a fine, healthy animal, come 7 other cows, and they were skinny and vile. Well, then the thing got in the button got which I thought I would do them good. But no, it didn't make them bad, like such a monster, supper sure. Oh no.
I was known as a wild one by all the folks around. I was known as the wild one by all the folks around. Baby girl, she swore to die, folks were off by the other guys.
Yeah, they don't write them like that anymore. In fact, I don't think they ever did. England's own Jerry Lee Lewis, Oliver Orange Juice Reed, who features in a more stately form in this next section of cheerful reminiscence.
I remember I was walking along the street and a guy stopped me. He said, "You're here." So I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, you're Michael Caine, aren't you?" So I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, you're here." He said, "You're right here. Look, you're here." So I said, "Well, I have to be somewhere, don't I?" So he said, "I never thought of that, yeah." and he just walked on.
And this bloke came up and stopped me and said, "Excuse me, are you Harry Enfield?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, blimey, mate. You do that Stavros, didn't you? I love him. He cracks me up, right? I can't do him, right? Hello, peeps. No, I can't do him. But he cracks me up, right? And that loads of money geezer, I love him. I can do him and all. Loads of money. See, I can do him and all. But I saw you on Wogan the other day. You're a right prat in real life."
I bought some underpants in a well-known departmental store the other day, and it's surprising the amount of money one has to pay for them these days. He said, "Inflation has hit the crutch." No,
No, did that come off the top of your head? Have you been rehearsing?
No, that came off the top of my head. And if anything else comes off the top of my head, I should be born.
How did you find Keith Moon?
How did we find him?
Yeah. He found us.
He found us, yeah. Chemistry just gelled from then on, didn't it?
We, on the tour, we kept on feeling his presence. And there's this pigeon in the studio.
Yeah. And you think this might be...
This could be shades of Keith Moon.
Well, he's got his back to us.
Yeah, he's got his back to us. Yeah, the jokes aren't good enough.
You've smashed up hotel rooms, you shot somebody through the hand.
No, that was Keith Moon.
God bless him. You were nowhere to be seen at that time?
Oh, Moon, yeah, I made a film with him, yes. Yeah, he was very strange, Keith. He was, one night he phoned me up and he used to, for some reason, fill his room full of Swedish models. And working with The Who, I'd never worked with a pop group before, but it's true about the ladies. And he phoned me up one night and he said, "All right, just get yourself down there." He was obviously had a pillow on his face. Either that or, according to Tony Curtis, a good actor. But anyway, I went round there and he said, "Yeah, give me your hand with this television set." So I got over and I got one end of the television, the ladies were over that side, and I got the television set, and you're holding a television set one side and somebody's holding it the other side. And he went over to the window and he threw it out of the window. And I went like that with him and it went boom! And the porter ran out to the hotel. And he looked up and he said, "What are you doing?" And Mooney says, "Answer the phone." He says, "All the radio's coming next."
The Who performing 17 years apart. First on Hearty in 1973 with the late lamented Keith Moon, and then just a few years ago when they came onto my show after their last live tour. So, you've had your conversation, the occasional burst of music, and the odd bit of impromptu entertainment, and before you know it, the floor manager is making signs at you, meaning thank you. It's time to wrap up proceedings with that final question.
And in closing, if I may just ask you one final question, what advice would you give to any actor who in the future may play James Stewart in a movie?
I think just remember that the best way to learn how to act is to act as much as you can, and you learn by acting. You don't learn by sitting and having somebody lecture to you about that. You learn it by doing. And that, I think that's the best way. And I wish all the people who want to be actors, I wish them all the luck of the world.
And if he was playing you, what extra piece of advice?
I would tell him to speed it up a little.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and think, in another 20 or 30 years, I'm going to be 50 or 60. What shall I be doing then? You don't?
Never think about it. I mean...
Doesn't haunt you?
What, sorry, what did someone say something with a very deep voice like Lord Tennyson?
It doesn't haunt you, that in the middle?
I don't think I'll live that long.
You don't?
No.
I know you don't have regrets, because that's not your style, but do you somehow wish that you had been reunited with Richard Burton?
I'm sure we will be one day.
To start on that great adventure, that's how they refer to life. The breeze said you would be my wife. Come on, let's shoot the breeze. Fairy tales upon the clouds, dreaming of white knights and dragons. In about a day or two, I'll be going on the wagon. It's not my girl or the kids you see. To tell the truth, it's a mystery why I'm so damned dissatisfied. The breeze said no one's there inside. Come on, let's shoot the breeze.